Thanks for staying with us. You know, the reason why I find it quite bizarre that NBA is collecting money from government, because I guess maybe from my own background, I remember that my dad was president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and I know they were having a conference once, and his people, the planning committee, went ahead to go and invite Governor Raji Razaki to be like their special guest. And of course, they didn't tell him, of course, he's the president. He now found out that, what? He went to go and invite him. Go and collect back my invitation card. I didn't invite him. Of course, the planning committee were scared that you've already given the governor. He said, I did not invite him. Go and collect it back. He's not invited to our gathering. Well, do we want Raji Razaki, the military governor at the time, to come to our, for what exactly? What is he coming to do? And he insisted that they should return, they should go and get back his invitation card, that he was not invited. Now, because the NBA was seen as a highly reputable body that speaks for the people, that represents the people. I'm not against NBA, because we've somewhat watered down, since his time in the 90s, we've watered down the essence of what NBA really stands for. If you are now going cap in hand or going to go and speak, or governor, or please, we need sponsors. If you can get a sponsor from an independent company, fine. But from government, how would you therefore speak on behalf of people? How do you therefore speak against government confidently when you are collecting money from them? That's where I'm coming from as an NBA. NBA is my own last line of defense as a Nigerian. They are the body that I can run to if I have been treated, if my rights as a citizen is trampled upon. So I want to see them as a sacred body. But once you start frolicking with government and government give me money, and if you do it behind, don't let me know. But now that I am aware, I don't know. I'm seeing them in a different light. That's my position.
All right. Okay. Are you done?
I'm done.
Morayo, do you realize that government also has rights of defense within the NBA? That is not just you as a citizen. Do you know that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So the NBA is a body that serves everybody. You as an individual, as a citizen, government bodies and agencies, the NBA is there to serve Nigerians as a whole. And then you remember that as NBA, they don't do anything without Oda. And for sponsorship, there's something called the sponsorship clause. And the administrator needs to go and check the letter, because you cannot give someone 300 million just like that. It's a government money. There were processes before that money moved from one hand to the other. So they should go and check in whatever the agreement or clause in the sponsorship. Did they write that if you give us 300 million, it is because we will do this, host this in your states?
Okay, let me ask. If
it doesn't form part of that,
let me ask you a direct question.
We can't give you money back.
To protect the dignity of NBA, do you think it's right for them to return that money?
No.
Just for the dignity?
Money no day to return.
There's no money to return. Just spend them. There's no money.
I'm talking about dignity, perception.
Let's talk about dignity.
We're talking about
going forward.
Yes, just because we need the money, no doubt, but we can find the money elsewhere. For our integrity, for the sake of our integrity,
there's no money.
Return. But do you know if the NBA returns that money, somebody else might give them that money.
We can't find
for where?
Somebody else might give them that money.
Yeah, it's possible. Let's not even give up.
Yes.
But the point is that
you're not refunding sponsorship money. It's a gift.
No, they're not even.
I gave you that money because I wanted you to host in my country.
No, but you bring out a written document to show that that was the agreement and that was the contract.
I think that's a pledge. And you know, when the pledge has been redeemed,
that's what America is right on that. That there was no document.
There's no document showing that.
There's no even document, even if there was, that a pledge once redeemed should be returned. I don't think pledges are done that way. The rule of pledges is different from those of
no, I mean that for the sole administrator, it says that it should show an agreement that says that.
Find it. It was a pledge done by the governor. You should go and hold Fubara to return him 300 million. That's one. That's just serious talk. But the NBA conference has since left where it was when your dad was president.
Yes.
Since it's become a very big show. The days of when it was just the conference and the serious business of lawmaking and all of that has passed. Lawyers now also go to the conference to also relax. Towards the evening, after the serious business is discussed, there's also events, which is why they bring some artists, people will stay for the after party and all of that.
Sure.
Even when I was at law school, once we finished our exams, they allowed us have an after party in Abuja. We did have an after party, even though I did not show up before people would say that I was partying. But that's happened.
It's okay to relax, my dear.
I relax in my room.
So you're right.
But it has since gone far from that. And so more money has now. It used to be done with the dues paid. You know, per set, per 5 years of post calls, 10 years of post call. That was how the monies were generated. So if you're an SC and you know your own money is bigger. So they used to get those monies like that within the structure. But because of further expansion of what he was, to make it more inviting to people. You know, some people just don't want to go to a boring event where only talk is serious. You've already had a serious year. And so they do a conference and there's a party. Yeah. Portable can come again.
And we need to eat now.
But even after that...
No, but your dues were for this one.
You know, the reason they would have collected money from Ifubara is because he was democratically elected. Yeah. Now, the reason they are removing it is because it's a military man.
It is an expression of their objection. Yes. It's a pressure group to what is happening in River State.
Yes.
And I think that's valid.
There are quite a lot of group comments here. Let me take Yakub first. Good morning, Yakub. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah. For me, good morning, Sister Yemi.
Good morning.
For me, I go with Morayo this morning. The question is this. I'm very sure we have the two lawyers in the studio there. I want to ask both of them, Sister Nima and then my sister. Are you ladies not paying a dues because you are a lawyer? Because I learned that every lawyer in this country has some kind of dues they normally pay. You guys are paying your due, maybe yearly. I'm starting to be corrected. Are you not tell us that that kind of a due that you guys are paying, it is not enough for you guys to organize whatever you want to organize? Now, let's come to think of it. If a governor of a state giving the lawyers and then sponsoring them for being, say, they want to head what kind of a meeting, is it the same money they normally pay all kind of association in this country, like a Petroleum Nigeria Association, the Theatre Group of Nigerian Association and all that? Even they can even pay all the Artisan Association as well. Is it the same? Are they giving us money as well? So, being a lawyer, you guys know the law. You collected money from somebody and then you now move the agent to another state. And then you ask for his money. The state has for their money that you return our money. You are not saying the money has been paid. You return the money. You know the law. You return the money. Good money. You just
Let me answer. The money was not for hosting.
Thank you.
You don't pay the MBA to you don't pay for hosting rights. There's no hosting rights.
NFA.
There's no hosting fee. Then, apart as the River State gave this money, other agencies and state governments and governors that want to also support, they will still sponsor, they will still bring their money. So it is not just that, because they're talking about River State's own sponsorship. The other people will have sponsored.
Yes.
Can I read comments?
Exactly.
Let me. The few that we got in the group. Let me read them. Mayor of Ederland says Nigerian Bar Association receiving 300 million naira from a sitting governor of a state who refused to present a budget for preparation. Is that lawful? And that one says a 300 million naira gift leaves room for so much conjecture and leaves the NBA in a bad light. The NBA was shockingly silent when Fubara ruled Rivers with a 3-man assembly operating from government's house. Could this be why? Also, Murtala said 300 million naira unapproved, unappropriated money given to Nigerian Bar Association by Fubara is unconstitutional. EFCC must probe NBA and how the money is shared among the NBA school. Corruption thrives in compound of NBA. So the issue is, so I get the whole don't return, but for me, this is like it. For me, they are speaking my sentiments here that it is not just about who gives or don't give back the money. Where did this money come from?
That is a matter that you have with the governor, not the body. A lot of people will pledge support. You can pledge 100,000 naira support. You can pledge 1,000 naira. And for Yakubu was asking what we dues we pay. We pay. Some people pay dues as low as 5,000 as lawyers, and for an annual event. In that your 5,000, you get your legal stamps, your MBA stamp, and all of that. You also get all that.
Naira.
Yes, that's some people's due for the whole year.
What's your own due?
For my airport score year, I don't want to talk outside. I paid my own. I'm not paying this year's now because they've not given me my stamps. But that's how we pay it. And so it's used for running the entire affair of the MBA for the entire year. So you go to your local MBA office, as I think it's at law school. And you get all of your entitlements, all of those things. But the conference is an event.
Yes.
Anybody can pledge. I want to calmly look at this thing properly. So the Fubara, as a governor, did not get his budget approved. Naim. he as a governor now pledged a support which he redeemed to the NBA as a body.
Where did he get the money from? Can't the NBA ask him?
If, okay, wait. If Fubara has... Hold on. Please, I just want a neutral question. If Fubara as a person has 1 billion in his account and decide to give Amaka 300 million in his account, can we have this conversation where you get the money from?
Exactly.
If it's showing you where you get the money from, what assumption? How do you arrive at the assumption that the money is from the River State coffers?
Thank you.
Just because Ibas is asking for the money?
Thank you.
Okay, as a governor, are you manufacturing something in your house that is giving you 300 million?
Are you broke?
Let me and Nima let's have this conversation. Because as a governor, the oil is not your personal property.
No,
it's
not.
the people's property.
I agree with you.
Now, you as a governor now, is that you are producing something, you are manufacturing something personally with your personal company that's giving me 300 million now that will give you.
You must be a Dangote.
Yes,
okay.
Because don't tell me that you went into the people's money.
I agree with you, Morayo. You know that me, I agree on this one.
That's why I want you to take me
But if as a governor, what my salary is in a year is beyond $1 billion. I cannot give somebody 300 million.
Absolutely. So wait, no, I'm almost done. So if Fubara is earning $1 billion a year
as governor,
no problem. Now that 300 million, if I know as NBA that governors are earning $1 billion,
how will NBA know? That's my question.
The governors are earning.
NBA as a body, people would have pledged support for this year's conference from way back.
Different places.
If everybody redeemed their pledge and NBA carry EFCC touchlight and go say, as the sources.
So let us find out.
So Ibas, if he wants to allege that a fraud has happened, show us that Fubara,
he's not alleging that fraud has happened.
No. He said they should bring his money. He must show us that the money.
The reason he doesn't.
They went into accounts in River State and took the money for NBA. But then you will not be asking NBA just to return the fund. You must show that the money was to force NBA to give you to host their NBA conference in your state, which you cannot show.
I'll come to Amaka in a second. Let me go to Bola from Abuja as a whole. Then I'll come to Amaka then YK. Bola, you're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please. Need some volume.
My own take on this issue is that unappropriated funds, according to Supreme Court judgment. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, unappropriated funds, according to Supreme Court judgment, is like a stolen fund. And that fund was not appropriated for, whether it's 2024 or 2025. So in Yoruba parlance, they said, ẹni tó gbé epo lọ́jà kọ́ ló lè, ẹni tó gbà ló lè. So the NBA, being a moral, justified body, supposed to return that money, not grandstanding. Now that they know where the money comes from,
like that,
whether it's from Fubara himself, whether it's from government, they're supposed to now look at it and say, this is a stolen fund according to Supreme Court, and they should return the fund. And then find a way, to pander their own image and say, we are wrong in collecting this money. So for them to grandstand and say, it's a gift, Abba, no, it's wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, wait, Amaka, the reason for, what's his name, Ibas, what is his name, is asking for the money.
So
it's not yet.
The reason he's asking for the money is because they are not hosting it there. That's what not because
it's illegal.
Yes, you see, that's what I want to say. Like we need to understand this conversation. The conversation is not, so he himself, as the sole administrator, is not saying that there was there was fraud, or that the money was not appropriated for this, or that. So it was misappropriated. So to people that are saying this, you need to understand where he's coming from and the fight. His anger is that money was given for hosting as hosting fee, and that the NBA is not hosting. But we were now responding to him to tell him that there's nothing like hosting fee. It's called a sponsorship. And if you feel that you want a refund of a hosting fee, please show us an agreement or a contract that stated that.
We agree with you, Amaka. Everything you said is correct. We are saying that even though Oga Ibas has not seen it that way, we as the people that were looking in and saying, so they've not, this your funds has not gone through appropriation. So where did the money come? So we're not talking about hosting or no hosting. We are telling you
I like that conversation. That's where I like Gegen. These House of Assembly members that went to court to get their Supreme Court judgment, when they were paid all the sitting allowances, it was out of appropriation.
Thank you very much.
They have not still passed appropriation.
I
don't know this. The salaries of civil servants that were paid. You see that is former panel. House of Assembly approve the appropriation bill with which civil servant salary was paid for 1 year. But now that they are now paying
We are ready
MBA,
for you people.
Yes.
a redeemed pledge.
Yes. Okay, let me go on a very short break.
Can I read comments?
Okay. When I come back,
I don't
read
be
comments.
blasting us,
Stay with
of
us
course.
right back.
Basically.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.